February is American Heart Health Month. This preventable disease is a leading cause of death in women in the United States. The CDC reports heart disease is accounted for over 300,000 deaths in women in 2021, which is more than all types of cancer combined. Men and children are also impacted as well by heart disease. February is a time to raise awareness, educate ourselves and others on how we can prevent and live with healthy hearts. Welcome to Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia, where we are everything her, helping to elevate and redefine our sister friend tribe and bring a women's stories and voices to the mic. If you are new here to the podcast, we welcome you. I am, in fact, your girl Tamekia. Be sure to stay connected with me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. In today's episode, we are going to talk about some steps that you can take to help prevent heart disease. But before we jump into the episode, I am going to give you this week's affirmation. So grab pen, paper. Make sure you share this with your sister circles. Make sure you put it in your affirmation bag. Let's get to it. My heart covers me and everyone connected to me. It is balanced with gratitude and love. I choose to take care of my heart so I can live a healthy life with a healthy heart. That is your week's affirmation. All right, so as I said before, in today's episode, we are going to discuss some actions that you can take to help prevent heart disease. But before we get into those actions, I'm going to share my story as it relates to heart disease. And in fact, this is my mom's story, okay? But I am going to share it. And in fact, I almost did not share this story. But I tell you, I was convicted. Yep, I was convicted, and in my spirit, something dropped in my spirit and was like, I dare you. I dare you not share this when it's everything that you stand for. You stand for women's stories, voices, being transparent with purpose, hoping somebody's story helps someone else, hoping that somebody's story is educational for someone, right? So with that being said, the truth is being vulnerable and being open is not easy. And so, it's not easy. It's not easy. So with that being said, I am going to share my mom's story as it relates to heart disease. And I hope it is helpful to someone. And so we're going to get right to it. So for those who know me, you know my mom transitioned in 2019. And some of you may know that she was in a car accident, right? Because that's what I typically say when I'm talking about my mom and she transitioned. I typically say she was in a car accident. And that's part of the story. Yep, that's part of the story. The other part of the story, the whole, stories always have parts. So, the other part of the story is while my mom was in a car accident, my mother was actually driving herself to the hospital because she felt like something was wrong. Well, she was driving herself to the hospital and she became unresponsive and she hit a tree. Now, what caused her to be unresponsive is my mother actually had a heart attack. Yep. My mother had a heart attack. They got her to the hospital. The hospital did everything they could. But having a heart attack is what caused my mother to transition. So, I'm going to share this because I want this to be educational to people, and we are in the month of February, and we talking about heart disease and bringing awareness and being educational, and we know better, we do better, type of thing, right? So with that being said, um, what I also found out from one of my mom, from she's a cousin, but she's my mom's first cousin. What I also found out is once she found out my mom had transitioned, I learned that there's been several women in my family that has transitioned from some type of heart disease, right? And so when she contacted me and I told her what happened, and she was asking me, did I know about this person, that person, and this person that had transitioned because of heart disease? And I'm like, no, I didn't know any of this, right? And so what I became really aware of is it was something that we didn't even talk about in our family. We didn't talk about, at least I had not been part of any conversations about, you know, uh, the people passing and transitioning because of some type of heart disease, heart defect, and so forth, right? It wasn't conversation that I had been part of. And so when she shared that with me, it definitely made me want to start being more preventative, right? It took some time, but once I got there, what I start doing is one of the things that I did, and I actually did this last year for my mom's birthday. I did what they call a CT calcium test. And I want to make sure that I'm really clear about this. Is although I did the test, I did speak with my doctor. I spoke with my doctor about some different testings that I can do because I wanted to kind of see what was going on with my heart. And so, after talking to my doctor, we came up with getting a CT calcium test done. And so, if this is something you're going to be interested in doing, I will say make sure you consult with your physician to one, see if this is a test that's right for you, or your doctor may have something else that is right for you, right? And so, a calcium test, what it does is it's a scan to where it looks at the calcium that's in your arteries, coronary arteries, and it looks for plaque built up. It looks to see if the plaque is narrowing or blocking your coronary arteries. And if it is, that can be assigned in a cause for and lead to a heart attack. The test is it doesn't take long, and what they do, it probably took like less than 10 minutes. But what they do, they take those little sticky, patchy things and they put them on you. Then you go up under this imagery scanning machine, and it does all the imaging and the scanning that it's supposed to do. Now, after you do that, you're done. You don't speak to anybody, and in fact, you get the results later. Um, so again, if you're interested in that, make sure you talk with your doctor. Now, it's my understanding that it's something that the insurance don't cover. I'm not really sure. I know my insurance didn't cover it, so I did have to pay out of the pocket, and the cost probably is different based on where you live and region and things like that. But I can tell you the amount that I paid. I paid $125 for the test itself, and then it's like another 70 to 80 bucks for a cardiologist to review, read the images, and determine what your calcium score is. And so the calcium score um, is different levels. So the calcium score is like a 0 to 100. You are at low risk, right? You are at low risk for uh, an artery disease, coronary artery disease. If the score is anywhere between 101 to 400, your risk it increases. Okay. Now, if your score is 400 and above, you are at significant risk. So I thought this test was definitely beneficial for me because it gave me an opportunity to just be preventive in general to see what steps I needed to start taking as it relates to making sure that I didn't have any plaque in my heart, or if I did, what I needed to start doing, right, to correct that. So again, if it's something that you're interested in, make sure you speak with your doctor or see what tests your doctor can recommend. Are other tests out there as well. I just happen to want to see the imaging part of my heart. And I actually got the so they also, you can also ask for the disc and have the imaging of your heart. So that was one thing that I did. The other thing that I had started doing was I started going to the gym. Now listen, your girl is, I did not like going to the gym at all, okay? But last year, and probably with the encouragement of one of my sister friends, I start going to the gym. She was like, girl, just start going and getting on the treadmill. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this thing. And I fell in love with actually going to the gym. Yep, I sure did. The gym not only got me moving, but it became my self care thing. It became a moment where I shut everything off and it's my self care time. So, those are the two things I did to help me start being preventative as it relates to helping me manage and making sure my heart is good, right? So some other things that I think people can do. Number two, uh, as I said before, talking about the other women in my family or who have passed because of some type of heart disease isn't something that I have been privileged to. So I think the other thing people can do is have those family conversations, right? Have those upfront conversations, family history, who transitioned from what was the the heart disease, what was the issues, what was happening, how many women, because as CDC say, heart disease is the number one killer amongst women, right? So have those conversations with your family. I think it's important to also be upfront with your doctors. Yep. Be upfront with your doctors about what you may be experiencing, what's going on. So in conjunction with talking to your family about family history, you can also be upfront about what you're going through with your family, but also be upfront with your doctors as well. Number three, I would suggest creating healthier eating habits. Now, it doesn't mean that you are this health fanatic, right? And it doesn't mean you can't have the things that you like. What it does mean is that you probably should start decreasing some of those things that you love and that you enjoy, but may not necessarily be good for you. And so my sister, what she loves to say is, have a colorful plate. Make sure you have a colorful plate, right? So what does that mean? What does that look like? Veggies, raw veggies, fruits, right? You can do nuts, grains. Make sure you drink plenty of water. You get your protein. Fish is good for you. Making sure you take in supplements that your body need, right? And some of those things that may not necessarily be good for us, you can peel back a little bit, start decreasing, I guess I should say, from those things. So sugary drinks, fried foods, anything high in salt, right? Start cutting back on some of that stuff. Processed foods, carbohydrates, you can cut back a little bit, right? And then who knows, you might find yourself being like, you know what? I like this colorful plate over here better. I notice I feel different. I like how I feel when I eat these foods. You never know. But what we do know is start cutting back some of those things that are not necessarily good for you. As I said before, I start going to the gym. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be a gym person, because I believe you can be physical anywhere, right? Like, you can start walking. Just get your body up and moving, right? Whether you do a treadmill, whether you do go to the gym, whether you get a treadmill at home, a bike at home, going up and down your steps, just get your body moving. Walk the park, walk out in nature, walk outside. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to the mall, park far, walk up to the door. You know, we live in the world now. We want to get as close as we can so we don't have to walk as far, right? No, park far and walk. That could be part of your exercise in your regimen. Just walk. Yep. That'd be part of your exercise, and it's good for you to get you moving. Now, I will say if you already have some type of condition, whether you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, if you have already suffered and lived with or had a stroke, I would say definitely do everything that your doctor is asking you to do. Yep. Do all the things your doctor is asking you to do. Take your medication. Start making those small changes. Because your doctor will start telling you, like, hey, you need to cut back on this. You need to eat more of this. So those changes that your doctor is asking you to do, just start doing them. Start doing them. You can slowly start making those changes. The overall goal is to be committed to the change, right? It doesn't mean you have to do it all at one time. Just be committed to the change so you can be better. You can live better. You can live a healthier life, right? And take care of your heart. Take care of your heart. If we get an opportunity to take care of our heart, and when we know better, we do better. So if you know better, do better. And I think this is going to be a bonus tip from all the adult children to the parents. This is going to be a bonus tip. Parents, please include your children. And I think I speak for all adult children in this moment. Please include your children on all things going on with you, especially when it comes to your health. I promise you that we are not trying to be nosy. We really not. We are not trying to be nosy. But I also promise you too, the very thing that you think you're doing, protecting us, is it actually hurt us. Yep, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It hurts us. So, bonus tip for parents, please consider including your adult children. And if you don't want to include them all, include at least one. And if you got one, you need to make sure you include that one on what's going on with you. I promise you. We would absolutely love that. And not only do we need to know what's going on with you because we would like to be there for you, but also health-wise, it impacts us because it's something we can potentially have to deal with when it comes to our health as well, right? So I wanted to make sure I said that because it is a bonus tip. Listen, when we know better, we do better. So live well, be better. If you know someone that is dealing with heart disease, please encourage them on their journey. Encourage them on their journey. Help them, give them some tips, share this video with them. Because the truth is, we all have the power to extend years on our life. We all have the power to extend years on our life. We deserve to be and feel good. We deserve to have healthy hearts. So with that being said, I am going to ask you our wrap-up question. What do you love about yourself? I hope this episode was educational. I hope you got something from this. I hope it brought some type of awareness to you. But we are about to close. So again, I'm going to ask you, what do you love about yourself? That is a question for you to think about and write the answer down. But I am your girl, Tamekia. And remember, if you are ever looking for me, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. We'll talk soon.